Stop chasing motivation like it's going to save your life. Here's something that's going to piss you off, but might actually change everything. I've been studying why some people consistently hit their goals while others restart every Monday morning. And the difference isn't willpower, talent, or working harder. 3 years ago, I was that guy refreshing productivity YouTube videos at 2 a.m., convinced the next morning routine would fix everything. Spoiler alert, it didn't. But one I discovered changed how I think about success entirely. I'm going to show you the exact 90-day framework that separates people who dream from people who achieve their goals. If you're still waiting for motivation to strike, close this video now. You're not ready. This video is for those who are truly determined to take action to achieve their most important goals. Let me guess your pattern. January 1st, you're fired up. New goals, perfect plan, unstoppable energy. By February, you don't even remember where you wrote down your goals for the year. By March, you're telling yourself you'll start fresh next Monday. Sound familiar? Last month, I talked to Stephanie, successful marketing director, ambitious, hardworking. She said, "I don't understand. I've tried everything. Morning routines, productivity apps, accountability partners, nothing sticks." Here's what I told her. "Stephanie, you don't have a strategies problem. You have a discipline structure problem. You're confusing emotional highs with sustainable progress. Here's what nobody wants to admit. Motivation is why you keep failing. It's emotional, unpredictable, and designed to fade. You get high off planning instead of achieving. But mental discipline? That's a system that works whether you feel like it or not, whether you're inspired or exhausted." 2 years ago, I was sitting in my apartment, surrounded by self-help books, feeling like I'd tried everything. I'd been stuck in this cycle for years. Start strong, burn out, start over. The definition of insanity. That's when I discovered research showing that the most successful people use something completely different. Systems of discipline. Not willpower, but systems. I decided to put it to the test for 90 days. Instead of chasing a strategy like the perfect morning routine or getting a project done with the bare minimum, what I did was create a system of discipline to adapt different strategies and eliminate any friction in such a way that it would push me toward my goal every day, regardless, and not only when I felt inspired. The result? By day 90, I had not only consistently made progress, but I had become ultra-disciplined. The identity shift was everything. That experiment became the foundation for every goal I've achieved since. But before we keep going, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If this is landing for you, you're going to want to stick around because the next part takes it even deeper. Also, if you want to keep leveling up your mindset and mastering mental discipline, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a strategy. Now, here's what makes 90 days the perfect time frame. It's based on how your brain actually creates lasting change. Research shows that real behavioral change takes an average of 66 days. But 90 days is where transformation becomes identity. 90 days is long enough to build real habits and see significant results, but short enough to maintain focus and urgency. Most importantly, it aligns with how your brain learns and adapts. Mental discipline isn't about being a robot. It's about building systems that work regardless of your emotional state. When you're disciplined, you don't need to feel motivated. You act committed and let results create motivation. In 90 days of consistent action, you don't just create a compound effect to achieve your goal. You become the type of person who achieves goals. This identity shift changes everything. The discipline muscle you build carries over to every area of your life. Most people try to achieve goals while staying the same person. That's why they fail. When I wanted to become a consistent, I didn't wait to feel like. I started acting like one immediately. Every day, I did one thing that proved I was becoming an achiever, even if it was just writing one terrible sentence in a piece of paper. Now, this is your Phase 1 blueprint. On Week 1, define who you need to become, not what you want to achieve. On Week 2, design your environment to support this new identity. On Week 3, install minimum viable daily actions using the 2-minute rule. And on Week 4, build feedback loops that reward identity-proving actions, not just outcomes. For example, you're not trying to lose 30 pounds. You're becoming someone who takes care of their body. You're not trying to build a business. You're becoming an entrepreneur. Identity drives behavior, not the other way around. On month 2 is where most people quit. Results aren't dramatic yet. Motivation crashes, and old patterns try to pull you back. So, you're building the foundation. Trust the process. And here is where start your optimization strategy. First, focus on consistency over intensity. 80% consistency beats 100% perfection. Also, track leading indicators, your actions, not lagging indicators like the results. Build progressive overload into your habits. Gradually increase difficulty. And create minimum viable versions for challenging days. Because discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being reliable. It's about proving to yourself that you keep your word, especially when you don't feel like it. Listen, as time goes on, you will get impatient and try to speed up the results, sabotaging the process. But by day 60 of my experiment, something magical happened. The realization of my goal wasn't something I forced myself to do. It was something I was. The compound effect kicked in. Ideas flowed easier. Quality improved. What started as, let's see if this project works out for me, became a project with substance and even a team of people who wanted to help, naturally. So here's your acceleration protocol. Increase intensity while maintaining consistency. Add complexity only after simplicity is automatic. Stack complementary habits that support your primary identity. Begin teaching others what you're learning. This reinforces your new identity. And plan your next 90-day cycle from this elevated baseline. This is where you realize you're not just achieving goals. You've become someone who naturally achieves goals. The mental discipline muscle is built. You want to build something that lasts? Then you need a mental discipline operating system, not a try harder approach, a system. One that removes the need for willpower and replaces it with structure that actually sticks. Here's the truth. Most people are trying to leap their way into success. Big goals, big plans, big crashes. But it's the small daily minimums that separate the consistent performers from the people still stuck in planning mode. I'm talking about actions so small, so frictionless, you literally can't make an excuse. 5 minutes max. Start with an identity action. Just one behavior per day that reinforces who you're becoming. You don't build a new identity in your head. You build it by proof. Then do a 2-minute system check. What's working? What's not? You're not judging, you're just collecting feedback like a professional. And log your progress, but not your perfection. We don't track how perfectly you executed. We track that you showed up. That's what matters. And yeah, you're going to miss a day. That's not a failure, it's feedback. The protocol is simple. Acknowledge, adjust, and recommit. No drama, no restarting the calendar, no falling off. Miss a day? Get back on track the next. Done. Now here's where most people sabotage themselves. Their environment. If your space is designed for distraction, you'll keep defaulting to old habits. But if you engineer your environment to support discipline, everything changes. Make good decisions easy. Make bad ones hard. Automate what you can. Set up routines that pull you into the process. Remove friction from the right choices and add it to the wrong ones. And once a week, you zoom out. Sunday, 15 minutes. That's your weekly calibration. Look back and ask, were my actions aligned with who I'm becoming? Did my system serve me or slow me down? What's one tweak for the week ahead? That's how you stop spinning your wheels and actually refine as you grow. Because look, this game isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. The goal is 80% or higher, not 100, not flawless, just sustainable excellence over time. And what happens when you hit a wall? When the motivation's gone? When you break your streak? That's where most people fall off, but not you. Because now you've got a setback protocol. First, acknowledge it. Don't pretend it didn't happen. Then ask, what actually caused this? Don't overanalyze, just enough to extract the lesson. Then adjust. Make it easier to win next time. And finally, recommit. One small action, today, that puts you back on the path. That's it. Mental discipline means you stop outsourcing your behavior to how you feel. You don't act because you're inspired. You act because this is who you are. You drop the perfection fantasy and fall in love with progress. You stop obsessing over results and start owning the process. This is how you hardwire identity, consistency, and momentum, and that's the foundation for everything you're building. Let's talk about the traps, the silent killers of consistency. These aren't just bad habits. These are the invisible patterns that wreck your momentum before you even get moving. First up, the perfectionist trap. You want to change everything overnight. Wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym, eat clean, journal, meditate, build a business, and be a monk by Tuesday. Sounds like progress, right? Wrong. Marcus did exactly that. On day 1, he was unstoppable. On day 8, he was done. Burned out. Why? Because he confused intensity with consistency. He built a routine that only his perfect self could maintain. Real transformation starts embarrassingly small. 1 5-minute win a day. 1 rep of discipline. That's how you build an identity that lasts. Next is the comparison trap. Sarah came to be frustrated. Why does it seem so easy for everyone else? She was watching fitness influencers and high performers living out their year 3, while she was still on day 3. That comparison was crushing her confidence. Here's the truth. You don't need to keep up. You need to keep going. The only metric that matters is, did you show up today better than yesterday? Track your consistency, not their highlight reel. And finally, the complexity trap. This one's sneaky. It shows up as 12-step morning routines and systems that only work when life is perfect. But here's the reality. Discipline has to work when you're tired, stressed, behind schedule. If your system can't survive a bad day, it's not a system. It's a fantasy. Keep it simple. Build your discipline to run lean. Strip it down to what actually drives results. Because simple scales. Complex fails. These traps aren't just mistakes, they're signals. And if you've fallen into one of them, good. That means you're in the game. Now it's time to adjust, recommit, and keep building forward. Now listen, everything we've walked through today, that's just the front door. Because let's be real, mental discipline when things are calm is easy. Anyone can be focused when life's working in their favor. But what about when it's not? When the launch flops? When the motivation disappears? When you slip into old habits and no one's watching? That's the test. And that's why we built the Mental Discipline for Success system. This isn't another rah-rah course that hypes you up for a week and leaves you right back where you started. This is an actual operating system, a full-stack implementation plan with daily execution tools, habit protocols built around identity, not just willpower, and most importantly, recovery frameworks. Because discipline isn't about never falling. It's about rising faster every time you do. I've worked with founders, athletes, and high performers across industries, and the one thing they all need isn't more motivation. It's a system they can rely on when motivation's gone. So, if you're done recycling the same promises to yourself and you're ready to start building discipline that doesn't crack under pressure, everything you need is waiting for you in the description. Your 90-day transformation starts with one decision. Not 10, not tomorrow, 1. Are you going to keep chasing motivation, hoping it shows up like a lightning bolt when you need it most? Or are you ready to step up and build real mental discipline? Here's what you do right now. No waiting, no perfect plan. Step 1. Pick one identity you're committed to becoming in the next 90 days. Not a goal, an identity. Who are you choosing to be? Step 2. Anchor it with one action, something that takes less than 2 minutes, but proves you're becoming that person. It could be as simple as standing up and saying no to the old version of yourself. That's power. Step 3. Commit. 7 days. Not perfection, just consistency. Win the reps, not the results. And here's the trick most people miss. Track your show-up rate, not your performance, because mental discipline is built on follow-through, not flair. Now here's where it gets real. Drop your identity and your daily minimum in the comments. Make it public. Make it real. Because when you declare it, you own it. And accountability turns wishful thinking into action that sticks. If this video shifted something in you, if you're done with the stop-start cycles and you're ready to build the internal fire that lasts, hit that like button. That small action might help someone else find this message too. And hit subscribe, because mental discipline isn't a one-time download. It's a skill set. And I'm going to keep giving you the frameworks, the tools, and the truth to build it from the ground up. One last thing. 90 days from now, you're going to look back at this exact moment, and you're either going to say, that's when everything changed, or you'll still be stuck in the same loop, waiting for the perfect time, the perfect feeling, the perfect plan. You choose. Your future self is already watching.